In the book, Role of a Lifetime, I wanted to make certain that I was completely honest and transparent about what my life has been and the experiences I've been through. That it has not been, or it is not the story of someone who grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth, and it's not the story of someone who doesn't have flaws and frailties. Clearly, I do. And I wanted to share those for the purpose of having people benefit from that as well, too, because life is about how you handle the trials and tribulations. Life is about how you bounce back from mistakes when you make wrong decisions, and applying which principles do you apply to overcome. And for me, it's been biblical principles. So I wanted to share that. So I talk about some of the mistakes that I made in terms of when I rested on my laurels and got complacent when I was in college. And the reason I didn't get a chance to realize my dream of playing professional basketball is because I got cocky. I didn't work as hard to stay on top as I did to get to the top. My high school coach shared with me that there's no such thing as a player of standing still. You're either getting better or you're regressing. Well, guess what? There's an application for that in the game of life as well. Number two, I am blessed to be married to an absolutely wonderful woman who almost made the mistake of not marrying because I got cold feet. And she's a wonderful woman who is, handpicked by the Lord for sure for me. But I recall a week before we were to have gotten married the first time, and it's in the chapter entitled My Dorothy, where I called from the road, took a real manly approach, called from the phone, from the road a week before to say, I'm nervous, I don't think I can do it. And she says, you know what, I understand. I appreciate your being honest. Just do me a favor. Don't ever call me again. And she was right. And a month goes by, a little pain in the heart, but I'm thinking, okay, it's just withdrawal pains. 2 months, well, you know what, I'll be okay. I can manage this. 3 months, hey, maybe this is kind of real. 4 months, I'm really hurting now. Called back and realized I'd made a mistake and asked for a hand in marriage. And I said, you know what? You set the date. And it was during the football season. The date and time she set was a Thursday morning at 10 o'clock at the pastor's office, and I was there. So I talk about that as well, too. I also talk about, the role that one must play in terms of being as good a parent, and some of the mistakes that I made and not being as open and as communicative with my daughter as well. So I try to walk through all of those things to share, again, the blemishes as well as the good things. But fundamentally, and there is that biblical principle throughout, I talk about in the game of life, I've learned working in corporate America, there were more than this, but there were 7 principles that I applied in terms of being successful in corporate America and how those apply in the game of life as well. But all those principles to me needed to be rooted in a foundation based on faith and how it's worked for me unquestionably. And to make certain that you understand that and make a decision that if you choose not to go that route, then don't blame anybody else because of your disobedience, if you will, or not wanting to adhere to those principles. So those are the kind of things that I try to share in the book that have worked well for me. And I use some humorous examples as well to underscore the point. But I just hope that it will be a blessing to those who might see my effort at transparency and what I've applied in my life being helpful to them in a range of areas.